All right. Hi, and welcome again to the Appliance Alliance podcast. I am your host with the most equipment, Zach Kreider, owner of Gordon's Appliance Repair. And I have alongside of me my co host, the man with the plan. He needs no introduction, but I give him one every week anyway, Mr. TK Cousins.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome. Glad to be back and looking forward to this interview, and glad to have our special guest this week, Mr. Travis. And I guess there's no need in me telling you about him. I'd rather him tell everyone about himself. So, Travis, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Travis Woelfel. I own Horizon Appliance and HVAC. I have two locations. I have one servicing the Denver metro area, which is where I live. And then I have another one in Las Vegas that does the Las Vegas market also. So I get good little vacations that are business write-offs.
I bet. So you got two locations, huh?
Yeah, I just mainly opened up the Las Vegas one in July. My mom ended up going ahead and losing her job because of COVID, and we wanted to get her a job. So we said, hey, if we can find a good technician, then we can open up a location out there because, of course, we know how to run a business and all the first steps to get a business going. So flew a technician out here, trained him up, and he's on his own now, and he's doing great.
That's awesome, man.
So how many years have you been in business?
I've been in business since 2015. I've been doing it since 2006.
Cool. What got you into the industry? What sparked that?
Well, I got lucky. My dad owned his own HVAC company. If I wanted to get anything, I had to work for it. So he was like, hey, if you want a video game or whatever, come to work with me, work on install, be a trash cleanup guy. That's basically how I got into it. And then he got into LG, ended up giving him a call whenever LG started getting big out here, just starting to get into the States, and said, hey, do you guys want to be a service provider for us? So he was like, might as well. It's wintertime. It gets a little slower. That's how we kind of transitioned into doing appliances, and it was easier. So he was able to teach me on stuff like that and started to slowly learn on how to work on appliances.
Nice. Yeah, I had a dad who was the same kind of way. I was 5 years old in fifth grade, and he goes, "You want something extra? Get a damn job." And he called my godfather, and I started baling hay from then until I was a junior in college. So yeah, I kind of understand that. You want something, you're gonna earn it, boy.
Yeah. Hey, and then still, really good work ethic in me, and just work all the time, and want to provide a good life for my family, myself, and get happy customers and all of that.
Let me ask you this, Travis. So one of my dreams and goals is to eventually have several locations for my business. How has that transition been for you? Like, starting a new area, getting a tech rolling, your second area. How's that transition been? Any pros, cons, tips you got for us?
It is definitely difficult, especially with whichever market you're wanting to go into. Like, for instance, Las Vegas is a completely different market than what it is here in Denver. Denver, it's extremely easy to get COD work. It's just, there's not enough companies out here. So you're just blowing up on COD work. You don't have to really work hard at it. Las Vegas, on the other hand, a lot more competition, but then the customers are a little bit different. You're either dealing with customers that have a lot of money, or you have customers that don't want to spend $200 on a repair. So they're like, hey, I can go buy a Craigslist unit. So that's probably one of the main things to kind of look at when you're getting into another location is just, I feel like maybe Vegas, just the middle class isn't as big, and of course that's mainly what we service mainly is a lot of middle class, homes. So that's kind of like the first thing, make sure if you're going to open up another market, make sure it's going to be a big market that, is going to be easily able to thrive and have plenty of calls, where you're not stuck doing a bunch of warranty stuff. Because, of course, it's great starting your business out doing warranty, and it's good to have warranty there to, have new technicians to be able to go out and do a warranty call instead of sending them out on a COD call. But you don't want it 90% of your business to be, home warranties. You want it, maybe the other way around.
Yeah,
90% COD, 10%.
I was just going to ask you what's your percentage of COD versus warranty work? I know what our percentage is, but I'm curious what yours is.
Mine here in Denver, mine's 90% COD, 10%, home warranty. In Vegas right now, it's 100% COD. Haven't really found, there's only a few warranty companies that I like to work with because I've kind of, whenever I first opened up my business, you kind of run through them. You know which ones are good and which ones are not. So you know which ones to stay away from. It's always my biggest, that's my biggest advice I tell, new owners of businesses, is, hey, home warranties are great, but be very careful on which ones you're, getting with, because they'll call you, they go off of Google and they're going to say, hey, we're such and such home warranty company. We want you to be affiliate with us. And then when you're new, you're like, well, yeah, that's great. I want more business, and then they tend out to not pay, or they give you approval and they pay you for half of it, and then you're sitting there working for basically free.
Right. Yeah. We when I took over the business, we were probably, I would say, 70 to 80% warranty work, and we've worked our way down to about a 50-50 split, and we still only have 2 warranty companies that we regularly service for, because they're, like you said, they're not a pain in the butt. We know what we're getting when we go into it with them. So that's really cool to hear that that's, kind of the way you're approaching it, going for the COD. Do you guys do sealed systems at all, or is that something still on the horizon?
So I'm the only one right now that does sealed system work. My technician in Vegas, we're getting there. I just don't want him to. He's new. I just don't want him to bite off too much. And getting into the sealed system, of course, is a different beast. And I would like for him to come out here and train more with me on doing sealed system before I just let him loose. And I can't save his day when he's in Vegas and I'm out here in Denver. So other different story of, around, in Denver having a technician, you're there. So if he messes up, you can go out, fix his mistake, and get everything fixed up that way. But.
Yeah, I was going to say, seal systems are one of the things that I'm trying to get into this year. One of my 2021 goals is to get me, my tech, and my partner all doing sealed system work. Do you have any tips or advice as far as that goes?
Main thing is, don't be scared of it. It's honestly not that hard. The main thing that you want to practice on is just basically, the soldering side of things. Once you can solder pretty well, and it's really not that hard. It takes a little bit of time. You go to Craigslist, find some broken refrigerators, and just pull out the old part and resolder it back in, and keep doing that. It's not very hard. Compressors, those are going to be the simplest. They're easy to get to. So if you are new and you want to just start out doing sealed system, do a compressor, because everything is nice and easy. It's right there in front of you. Getting into doing like evaporators, the trick on those, you just have the inner wall, so you either get a flame shield, you just get better at welding, so you can do it really quickly, so you're not throwing too much heat and you're not going to sit there and melt the cabinet and stuff like that. So, right. That's the one thing where I say, hey, do compressors, start out with compressors. If it's a leak, it might be better for you just to say, hey, go buy a new one, or hey, have this company come out and fix it. Until you get more confident, you get better at doing compressors. And that's mainly what you're going to see more times than not is faulty compressors, especially if you're working on LG, then you'll deal with plenty of faulty compressors.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let me ask you this. We're going to get down to the nitty gritty right now. So you told us a lot about yourself and all that good stuff, but we would like to hear your top 3 favorite tools, your top 3 go-to tools that, if at the end of the day you could take 3 tools into a job, what would those tools be?
Man, my tool bag, does that count as one? Favorite tool. I mean, mainly, of course my drill is going to be my favorite because that's going to speed everything up. Specialty tools, Um, I love having my leak detector, especially on refrigerators or not cooling, just to go ahead and do something quick on pulling up to see if it's going to be leaking or not. That's going to be kind of like a specialty tool that I like a lot. The other one, TK, I know you posted it on Facebook earlier, is just that low profile ratchet that has a 1/4 inch drive. Um, that thing is a lifesaver. I use those on and I can put that into my 1/4 inch drive too. So doing like the Whirlpool old school motors on getting up underneath there, and you just have that 1/4 inch screw that's low profile. You can just ratchet that out nice and easy. That's definitely I use all the time. Another favorite one that used to be a favorite is, I would say, the LG clamp for the little handheld pliers that they have to go ahead and spread out the spring for the gasket. Um, that one is a must for new technicians, especially on getting that ring back on the front gasket. After getting to know how to do it, you can just get it with needle noses and you can just expand that gasket and pull it back over. But that is a pretty good handy one for, I think, what, 50, $60.
That's the best 120 ever spent. I have the front and the rear, and that rear one is a lifesaver.
That rear one is a lifesaver for sure. I can do the front one fine with my needle nose, and if it's super tight, what I do is I take a zip tie and I pull it with the needle nose and then run it with the zip tie this way. I'll do a video on that one day, but yeah, definitely that's a good tool to have for sure.
Yeah, on the rear one, I just normally put it at the 12 o'clock position, and then I just get my small needle nose, and then I just bring it across, and then go ahead and snag it on that loop. It's the easiest that I found on that one. But yeah, those are both. The tool does make it way easier, especially if you're first getting out.
So we've all kind of been in the business for a while. And I know just in my 8 years, I've seen the industry change. And so, I mean, I'm not asking you to, be Nostradamus here, but where do you see our industry heading?
More work volume. The appliance industry, they want the units to break. They don't want them to go and last 30 years and get handed down anymore. So, the one thing though that I think you're going to see on refrigerators, that the technology is already kind of coming is they have these control boards right now that run off of a cooling tower. My memory's correct. I believe it's Photonics, is the manufacturer. And that technology is in some wine coolers. I don't know if any of you guys have ran them, but it's actually a computer chip, and then it has two fans. It has like a condenser fan, and then it has a cooling fan that pulls off the coldness from that chip. And I feel like, especially how everything's going to the R600 and medium temp on the refrigerator side, I think eventually you're going to see that technology going into the refrigerator side of things, where it's just going to be a control board that's going to go ahead and cool the refrigerator down. And then, of course, you'll have your compressor, for your freezer side of things. But I think you're just going to see things get more electronic than what it already is.
How have you dealt with our parts shortage in this 2020 COVID era?
It's been fun. It's been a lot of having to explain and talk to customers. And honestly, it's really just starting to fall right about right now. It's starting to get worse. At the very beginning, it wasn't a big deal, but all the manufacturers are all like Marcone and all the big guys, they still had their inventory. And now that's finally starting to, get a little low, that it's making it fun where I'm having to search multiple websites on some companies that I don't even use, which then is going to make it fun on if that part ever fails and we have to get warranty claims on it. Then it's like, oh gosh, now we got to go through and see this process of this smaller company.
My local supply houses are out of the 338-7747 heating element. Are you guys experiencing lids, like direct drive lid switches? No, I can't get them locally. I have to order generics off of Amazon and just let the customer know, hey, this is a generic, but it'll get you going.
So the one lifesaver that I have noticed is this supply house. It's called Appliance Parts Company. They're a West Coast chain. I used them whenever I lived in Austin. They were one of them and First Source Serval. They were the two local warehouses and stuff. But I feel like not a lot of people know about that, company. So they have a lot of common stuff. So if Marcone's out, if Day Distributing's out, if V&V is out, then I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and try Appliance Parts Company. And then sure enough, they'll have like 500 of them out of all of their branches. And it's like, really? So they're a little diamond in the rough right now on me finding parts. So if you guys are struggling finding parts, check them out. It's appliancepartscompany.com.
We're going to edit that. We're going to actually edit that out of the podcast, because me and Zach will use it, but we don't want everybody else knowing it.
Exactly.
No, we'll drop the link in the description.
Yeah, we got y'all.
That's the point of this podcast, is to add value to your lives. So we'll drop links to them in the description below. So speaking of fun things, and this is how we're going to kind of wrap this one up. Do you got any brands that you just you don't want to touch?
You know what? There's really none. There's some that I don't like to work on. I don't like working on Bosch, motors on their dishwashers. They're a pain in the butt. They take a while. But not touching something, I basically work on everything. I'll do commercial, I'll do residential. If I can get a part for it, then I'll get it fixed. But of course, there is stuff in the industry that, it's just not very fun to work on, or they make it extremely difficult to work on.
Have you braved the Samsung refrigerators? Have you braved those?
I work on them every day. They're like a cash cow for me. I know people hate them, but hey, they're a cash cow. That's a lot of companies don't work on them. So hey, if you're going to be the brave one that's going to say, hey, I'm going to work on LG and Samsung, you're going to get so many LG and Samsung calls, because you're going to deal with customers. Hey, I've called 5 companies and no one will touch this. And it's like, well, I work on it. Then you get a customer for life, because they know, they're like, hey, if you work on this because it's harder and no one else wants to work on it, then I'm going to continue to call you back.
Yeah, we're the only ones in our area that work on Bosch anything, but I won't touch a Samsung refrigerator. I've done them. In fairness, I have done them, and I've had some really bad experiences where you go and you change for example, the side-by-side changed an evaporator fan in the fridge side, and all of a sudden he says, well, my ice maker's not working, and you touched it last. So I don't want a spare bedroom at a customer house on stuff like that. So I don't mess with the Samsung, only for that reason, and only the fridge.
Yeah, their dishwashers aren't fun to work on either. Their dishwashers are a pain. I get cut up. I get cut up on, doing their sumps and all of that, where it's like, yeah, why am I doing this?
I will take a Samsung dishwasher any day over their refrigerator. Let me tell you.
Are you serious? You'd rather work
1,000%? 1,000%.
No, dude. I will work on Samsung fridges all day long. I hate their dishwasher. I don't work on Samsung dishwashers. That's the one. Samsung dishwashers and LG dishwashers, won't touch them.
I'll take all yours. You can take all my Samsung fridges.
What don't you like about that? Go ahead, buddy.
What's your hate on LG dishwashers? They're actually pretty simple.
I hate everything about them. I hate dishwashers, period. I don't like working on them. The only dishwasher that I enjoy working on is the Whirlpool, really simplistic, where you turn that little tab and it pops open. Your drain pump's right there. Your motor sump assembly lifts out nice. I can do a motor sump assembly in a Whirlpool dishwasher in 20 minutes. You know how long it takes me to do one?
Except that you can't get those sumps right now. They're on back order like crazy.
Oh, dude, tell me about it. Yeah, I hate dishwasher. The first thing I will cut out of my business is dishwashers. 100%. I hate dishwashers. They're gross. I don't like them, and I don't want to work on them.
My favorite is like, hey, my dishwasher's been broken for a few months, and Oh, what's the issue? Oh, it's not draining the water out. And then you're sitting there
Yeah.
messing around with 3-month-old dirty, nasty water, and you're like, thank you for that.
Every time. So to wrap it up, Travis, what is one piece of advice you would give to I don't care if it's veterans or apprentices, doesn't matter. What is one piece of advice running a business as a technician, whatever, that you would give to the community?
Mainly just keep positive. It's this industry, it takes a special person. It's not simple like HVAC where parts are generic. You're dealing with a bunch of different appliances, parts on back order, angry customers sometimes because parts are on back order. You have good days, you have bad days. You just got to stick it out. It's a great industry. Overall, when you sit back and you're like, you know what, I got a pretty awesome job, but it's very demanding, so it takes a lot out of you. And that's the one thing is technician burnout. If you're feeling like you're burning out, take a little bit of time, drop your call volume. Instead of you taking 6 or 7 calls a day and that's giving you a full day, maybe just drop it down to 4 so you can just relax and you can just take your time, between each call. That's just the main thing, because we've all been there. I know you guys probably have too, where you're just like spent and you're like, gosh, I don't want to, do I really want to keep doing this, and just take some time for yourself. The calls are always going to be there. Your phone's always going to be ringing if you're doing a good job keeping customers happy. But just make sure that your mental health is, right in line with that. And just if you need time, take it.
Well,
Man,
yeah.
I'll tell you what, that is one great piece of advice, Travis. I could not agree with you more, and I'm glad that you went with that for your piece of advice, because I have been trying to preach that for years. Like at the end of the day, what is most important to you? Is it more important to you to make money, or is it more important to you to be happy and enjoy your life and enjoy your family and get home and eat dinner with your kids, or fix 3 more washer machines, or fix 3 more dryers, or fix 3 more fridges? That's a great little piece of advice, and I appreciate you just reiterating that, man. That's good stuff.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Really appreciate having you on. It was an awesome perspective, and definitely enjoyed the conversation. And we'll definitely have to have you on again. It's been a lot of fun today.
Yeah. Thank you guys for having me.
No problem.
Thank you, man.
Well, hey guys, that was Appliance Alliance podcast, episode number 3. And man, we just really appreciate you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, hit us up on our audio platforms as well as YouTube, and just keep helping make this better. And I'll tell you what, we have some more amazing guests in line for you in the coming weeks, so keep checking back in. And if you haven't liked the Facebook page, make sure you like Appliance Alliance Podcast on Facebook. TK, you got any closing words for us?
Yeah, just make sure to go to YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We started an Appliance Alliance Podcast YouTube. And like Zach said, like us on Facebook, share us with your friends, and tell everybody about us. We appreciate the support.